So what were we losing? If we were to devise a new strategy now, the teacher would meet students in the first and 10th weeks in virtual classes with no other virtual meetings. He would handle inquiries via email, WhatsApp, and course discussion forums, which are crucial for communication skills. These forums serve to break the ice. Dr. Montasser or Dr. Aglan could create and name forums like Unit 1 Forum and interact, spending 5 minutes weekly to check student participation. The strategy based on program content aims to make the learner central to the educational process. It's for communication. Dr. Montasser or Dr. Aglan can create and name Unit 1 Forum or Unit 2 Forum to interact. They can spend 5 minutes weekly checking student posts. The strategy aims to make learners central with interactive units relying on guidance and engagement. Start with instructions, assistance, then a mind map. Content should be interactive, leading to the next topic with audio support. The unit should be interactive. You start with instructions and a mind map. Audio and motion graphics support this. Interactive depends on guidance here and pressure and interaction from it. The learner starts to see what comes to him here. Instructions then help, then a complete mind map, and the value of the contents remains interactive branching. He goes to the second topic. And this is the sound, is with us audio explanation in movement in motion graphics, in text, and some things that have pictures and colors here is an integrated strategy in e-learning. I cannot find fault with it in anything. In addition, the terms have been collected in a frame that appears, and the references, of course, can be referred to at any time during the study. It is not necessary to go to the end. To review the summaries, the instructor's presence is part of this strategy. Presenting content as part of the teaching strategy is key. The topic changes weekly within the strategy. The unit is available for download in case of internet issues and also in PDF format. The PDF is available despite glitches. The second unit, human communication, can be printed or viewed on mobile. If audio is bothersome, students can rely on visual aids in reading. Here, there's the unit in PDF format which can be taken. I don't know if the PDF is working. We had a glitch, but it's available. Here's the second unit in PDF, human communication, and the student can print it or view it on their mobile. If the audio bothers them, like a student might say, "You're giving us a headache, too much noise," we'd say, "No, you're an auditory learner. You rely on auditory learning. You're a visual learner, depending on visual aids and reading. You can read, take it and read." Another student might say, "My eyesight is weak. I prefer listening." I'd tell them, "Just listen. We plan to export our work as a video. It was on the college's website, but we don't want to overwhelm students. Check out the second unit. It's comprehensive and integrated. The strategy here is different. Sometimes there's a video, sometimes it's interactive. Let's go back. I'll take a line from the top, so if anyone sends me anything, I can refer back to my presentation." Another student might say, "I have weak eyesight. I learn by listening." I'd say, "Just listen to your work. We plan to export our work as video, but we don't want to overwhelm students. Check the second unit. It's comprehensive. You might find something else. The strategy is different. Sometimes there's a video, sometimes it's interactive or something else. There are strategy differences." Let's go back. I'll take a line from the top to refer back to my presentation. What am I discussing? I'm discussing diverse learning strategies catering to learners' needs for understanding. I showed e-learning strategies and said, we'll study what's old and new. Here is a video, an interactive one, and a different one. There are differences in the strategies. Let's go back now. So I don't tire you out. I'll take a dash like this from the beginning of the line so that if someone sends me anything on the screen, I can go back to my presentation. Discussing the application of diverse learning strategies. I showed e-learning strategies and mentioned a study on what's old and new, traditional or electronic, which achieved better results, who increased student motivation, what is more effective for learning. Individual differences are key in choosing a teaching strategy. You can diversify using multiple strategies. So we can say that the individual differences I mentioned earlier are the only criteria for choosing an appropriate teaching strategy. Achieve learning goals. This is important. I told you that you can diversify using more than one strategy. So what's the strategy? What I explained to you is just a definition, but it's basically a given. You've already understood what e-learning and teaching strategies are, and I've presented them to you in various courses, training sessions, and different formats. This is considered a method of presentation, teaching methods and techniques This is complete educational situation. Look, the most important thing was something called the design of the educational situation. We now have the electronic teaching situation. The electronic teaching situation that you manage through virtual classrooms or through asynchronous learning. All of this is the strategy for e-learning or electronic education. Of course, Majdu wants to differentiate what is known. Learning, of course, comes from the learner, and education is linked to teaching because it's carried out by the instructor. We always say education and learning, education and learning. I put a slash here for training because I want to use this content in training courses. There's no problem with that. It won't differ. The important thing we want to talk about here is that these strategies are a method, right? They are a context for delivering. The lesson is a context, a learning path, a method, and the diversity in the strategies used ensures that you can achieve excellent, comprehensive, effective, and successful learning outcomes. Of course, there are many models of these strategies, and that's what we'll find in the next slide. This slide, I could talk about it for half an hour. Sorry, I need to stand here in front of it because I'm going to talk to you about flipped learning, learning contracts, discussions, collaborative learning, and self-directed learning. This is our training. Look, everything we've covered so far has been a prelude to get us to this point, and what comes next is just a formality. Here we are discussing e-learning strategies, which is the name of the course. So what are these strategies, Dr. Abdul Rahman? Educational games, programmed learning, electronic discovery, electronic problem solving, simulations, and virtual classrooms, which are considered one of the most commonly used methods in e-learning. So I'm telling you that the strategies in your teaching to your students, you use virtual classrooms, collaborative learning, discussions, and electronic brainstorming. You might also use project-based methods. As Abdul Rahman, I can tell you that I use virtual classrooms, I actually use discussions, and I do use collaborative learning, and I also use projects. But mostly, that's what I use depending on the nature of the course. However, in all courses, I use virtual classrooms, discussions, and projects. It's often collaborative learning when there are projects that rely on sharing among learners, where one does part of the work, another does another part, and they complete each other in one project. You know the difference between collaboration and sharing, of course. So I also need to tell you that we have cooperative learning and collaborative learning. Cooperative learning here can involve having a number of topics that all the students share, and they help each other complete all of them. So I'll stop here. We've paused a bit. I'll focus on the collaborative strategies. Here, you might have a number of topics that all the students share, and they help each other complete all of them.